Hello and welcome to the episode 7 review of Let's All Watch Baba Cough. Baba, तू क्या मॉडर जाके आया क्या? तू इतना खांसरा क्यों है? If you guys watch the latest episode, Mordor is covered in ashes, and Baba, to do full research, has gone to Mordor, and hence, yeah, hence he is coughing. But welcome to the. Okay, Baba. Whenever you.
Okay. I've also got Mordor's complexion because of the light. Can you see?
Yeah. Up until I was shooting from Valinor, as you guys knew, and the orcs have come to my doorstep. So 1 second. So officially, this episode was the Namkaran of the Southlands, because finally, what we've all been waiting for has arrived. Right? Southlands has officially been named to Mordor. Kya laga? First thoughts on the episode, boys?
Oh, it was exciting and very orange. It was a very orange episode.
Yeah. No, I liked. There's a certain pace to the episode that I'm tending to the series. Sorry, that I'm tending. And I know we've said that it's a commitment for 5 series and stuff like that. I think that the space is very nice because suddenly they wake up and they're like, let's do a chill episode. Let's start to tie up the.
But like chill episodes with revelations of everything happening, right? Because you eventually know what it's leading up to, and now the fact that it's happening, right? We were all waiting for Mordor to show up, right? And it already has. The episode was called The Eye, which is the eye of Sauron. So one more step closer to finally seeing whether or not Halbrand is Sauron, which he is not. I don't think so. I think it's a misdirect. But super episode again because a lot of the things are coming together. Baba, go ahead.
Theo is Sauron. I think the best thing to do now is label everyone as possible Sauron. Then you're right at least once.
Yeah, but pretty much anything you read online, you read about the fans chatting. Anybody lives or breathes, that's Sauron. Anybody could be Sauron. I think again every time they show Halbrand, like I know it's a misdirect, and I feel it's been a misdirect for almost 7 episodes now. But there is always, in some way or form, some reference to the possibility of him specifically being Sauron, right? Like they don't let that go. They keep teasing you. So quite excited to see last episode mein malum padta hai ki nahi, because they've actually announced, by the way, that in season 2, they've announced that they're going to have Sauron be like a physically present thing and not just in conversation or as an eye. Like there will be a walking, talking Sauron.
So that walking, talking Sauron could be introduced in the first episode, and Varun, you could be very badly let down if they just do the same thing that they did with Adar, where there's this person who just walks.
And you're like, अभी दिखाएगा नहीं, अगले एपिसोड में वापस आओ. लेकिन मैं तो आने वाला था वैसे भी.
अगला सीजन.
मैं 5 सीजन के लिए कमिटेड हूँ भाई.
No, also this episode, like I think it was one of the longer or the longest one probably, and it had every single storyline. So except the only person who missed out was Pharazôn all the way in Numenor. Yeah. But apart from him, everyone had footage, right? So we saw Galadriel, we saw the aftermath of that, the volcano, we saw all the people from the Southlands, we saw Miriel, we saw Elendil, we saw Isildur for a little bit. We'll come to that. The dwarves, Elrond, the Harfoots, your man, and we also saw one special appearance by one small cameo by one very famous actor who was at the bottom of Khazad-dûm.
He most forward to most forward to seeing Mr. Balrog. We'll obviously talk about that a little later, but I think first up, Southland reeling in the aftermath of the volcanic eruption.
And I think
a lot of people work dead, alive, injured differently. I felt really bad for Miriel, right? Because at one point in time when you saw her looking like that, you're like, wait, I think that she's not able to remember. Like, just absolute shell shock. Later, you find out that it wasn't shell shock, but that she's actually gone blind. That was quite a touching scene because as the queen, you want to be, at the forefront, lead your troops, and even one moment of weakness will put your entire troops down. So she insists that Elendil pretend that nothing's wrong, and they continue moving away from the influence of what is now Mordor.
Yeah, but this is also, I think, why Sauron sort of loses. eventually, because in this explosion of the creation of the explosion of Mount Doom and the creation of Mordor, dude, all the protagonists have survived. So this is Sauron's mistake, I feel.
Huh.
Because if he
That
had killed a
he
couple,
didn't aim the volcanic lava directly
correct.
at.
Yeah,
You're
I think
all
it was
powerful. Why couldn't you make sure one lands on Arondir? But
Aragorn.
अच्छा वो बच गए.
Yeah, you know, or Isildur or something. You know, like you
So
just
the thing about Isildur, very interestingly, is by the way, very tragic arc for him because he loses one of his friends. Ontamo is one of the few casualties of the few, let me say, few significant casualties of the volcano. And then he's trapped in a burning building, right? When he's trying to rescue people and help people. And we don't know what happens to him. Like what the fate of Isildur is, we don't know. His father believes that he's dead. Everyone else believes that he's dead. And
everybody believes that everybody
Except his
else is
horse.
dead. You know, like
except
unless
his
somebody.
horse,
exactly.
Beric, except Beric.
Dude,
Yeah.
Beric, like what acting?
Superb.
When Beric said that he doesn't want to get on the boat, I felt it. And when Elendil asked him, and that shot of him just galloping towards Isildur, oh, what a moment. So yeah.
I think that, you know, now that there's that little migration of whatever the survivors are there trying to go off, I think that is obviously, in my opinion, at least the sort of breadcrumbs towards the formation of Gondor eventually, right? Because you want to go as far away from Mordor because you don't know how long that ash cover is going to last, like before somebody terraforms it with magic or something. It's going to take really long. So now you see, I feel the start of the creation of what will eventually be Gondor. Right? Again, from the books or from the films, you're like, okay, Gondor happened. Now you see, like years before, how the process of it actually happening, which I think for me has been like the funnest part of the show, right? Just to see the breadcrumbs that lead to the final realization.
Yeah, and like how much, like, you know, when you start like when you enter the world through the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, right, all of this is already in place, right? You see how much time and effort it takes, how much planning, plotting, how much evil machination, how much suffering it takes to just get all of these small things in place. Even for evil masterminds,
That's
patience is
the
key.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you think that any of these characters that we have seen thus far, whether it is Adar, whether it is, Meteor Man, or anybody, even the three witches, the three, the Macbeth's three witches who sort of are chasing Meteor Man. What are their names, Kautuk? What are their names?
They are the
Ascetic.
nomad and the dweller, and the dweller is
Correct.
the key one.
Yeah. So in this case, I was just saying, like, if that point of yours, Kautuk, is so valid because whoever you are, you've had to go through, in this case, just 7 episodes of dealing with really random, stupid things that you should not have to deal with if you are Sauron, right? Like if you are Meteor Man, then this whole like dragging this hard-foot cut trolley all the way, and like and being like, "Acha ye," or if you are. Let's assume you are Radar, then he's like, "Arey yaar, I have to get captured by this Galadriel and like pretend like I am not." And and even if you are like, I don't know, if let's assume even Theo, even if he is Sauron, which is not possible, but just like, "Arey yaar, मेरे को stress लेना पड़ेगा, ये घुसाना पड़ेगा, I have to convince people." It's just so like the stuff that you have to go through.
Basically, every great deed, no matter
Requires
good
patience.
or bad, has innumerable sacrifices along the way, right? Sacrifices that you cannot skip forward, you cannot not do. Like it's just all of these things that lead to this. Like for example, like for a second, if you just imagine the perspective or the point of view of the orcs, okay, who for the first time are walking in broad daylight. How they be feeling? Guys, we actually have a place of our own. अभी हम लोग एक
अभी लोग पार्टी कर रहे हैं कि यार फाइनली यार इतने टाइम से हुडी पहन के साला अंडरग्राउंड जाना पड़ रहा है नाउ आज और पार्टी है
एक फ्लैग हॉइस्ट करते हैं like at the stroke of the midday sun.
Mordor shall awake to freedom. और सब आग चल रहे. No, but like now you've actually seen because Morgoth had seeped his evil so far into the earth in like the earlier age before he was defeated and stuff, that the his followers, people who still believe that he is lying in wait only to come back, gathering strength as as the time goes by. So the creation of Mordor was essentially done so that all evil around the world can eventually find itself there, right? And along with evil, obviously you have a lot of other people who have now shown up towards that. Like on one end you have the Southlanders who are trying to leave and get out, and on the other end you have Meteor Man, the three witches, and Harfoots, who have now also also joined the journey. That scene was really good, where they revealed a little bit more about the stranger, right? Slash Meteor Man, where you see him speaking in Quenya and trying to get this burnt tree back to life, terraform it in a way, and you see it almost work, right? When the ash around the orange, what it looks like, is like it's going to come back to life. Nothing happens, and then a tiny bit just comes out, and that's the flower or a leaf that comes out.
No, and
right?
it first breaks, the branch breaks, and then he's sort of thrown out, he's excommunicated. And then as he's leaving, you see that little flower blossom to life. Which could also, to be honest, if you just look at it from another perspective, and it may not be the case, but if you just look at it from another perspective, it could also be that the fact that he left allowed the tree to blossom. So he has that much blackness in him that he won't.
But he didn't leave, because once he did that, and he was right there, and you saw that little yellow flower.
As he left, and then when he went away, the next morning the Harfoots woke up to a bountiful garden.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, but there's also two things, right? Like both times that we've seen him perform this kind of like natural magic, right? And what I mean by natural is like involving nature. One was when he had put his hand in the water, trying to heal himself with the right. He was interrupted there too by Nori. Here again, he was performing the magic on the tree, and he was interrupted by the branch falling on the two Harfoots. So both times we've not seen him just do his thing without interruption.
Correct.
Right? Maybe the thing would have flowered properly in front of
him. Then.
Yeah. But it didn't happen. So there is like the and that's the thing, right? I feel like that wizard is too powerful, too magical for a creature as naive as the Harfoots. And so like when they see magic like that, they're terrified of it, not more curious, right? They're like, they're slightly like, they hide away from any kind of like grandness like that.
Yeah, and I felt really bad seeing their entire their huts and stuff that they travel with just being burned to ash, because literally you see Harfoots and you see them in their little like convoy that they keep going in, carrying all their housework, like all their supplies, just burnt in no time. That was really
Dude, it also showed you how powerful those whatever those strangers are, right? The
ascetic.
Let's just call them the three witches of Morgoth, of Middle Earth.
Morgoth's angels.
Morgoth's angels. There you go.
So man, they are clearly malicious, clearly very powerful.
Yeah,
badass. They're like pretty badass.
Dude, who puts their hand on that flame and extinguishes it? That is some kind of.
And then after they extinguish it, just go watch now what happens.
Bro, that's like Atika Khandala, but the second day they just. Okay, then what else happens? We can talk about this one, obviously, in Khazad-dûm, Elrond and Durin, where the hunt for Mithril continues. And at this point of time, Elrond actually comes and, single-handedly offers to increase the GDP of Khazad-dûm by saying that for the next 500 years, you will have all the elven help you need to build and, whatever, food, etc. for 500 years. Which
you know what else I like about that? Like, for example, in human terms, right? Like, because we have such limited lives, we think in 5-year plans.
Yeah.
You see yourself in 5 years. What is your 5 years? So
else का mutual fund 500 साल का
500
चला
साल तक gratuity in 3000 years, that kind of, like
No,
that.
this is almost like 500 साल तक तू निकालेगा तो तेरे को इनकम टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा, वैसा वाला है वो, वैसा वाला सीन है.
So no, but also I think this was the first time we saw the actual visual impact of Mithril.
Yeah.
So far, it was told to us as like, oh, it's a fable. There was one old legend like this. There was this whole thing. But now you can see it in action. So all the theories that the elves have about how Mithril impacts the Eldar tree and everything, it's real. Like you can see it, right? Like the leaf becomes whole again.
Which is also like the Eldar trees were burned down by the Balrogs during the War of Wrath, right? So you burned them down. That eventually trickled down, went to the earth, which is held by Mithril. And where is Mithril found? Way below, right next to the
next to
like
Balrog.
like it's a vicious cycle.
No, so before we come to the Balrog, right? Like there was one very interesting conflict between Durin and his father.
Yeah.
Right, which is the most classic father-son conflict that you can ever have. It's about the father wanting to preserve the old ways and the son saying, "Let me do my own thing."
Dad, हम अपनी कंपनी को डिजिटल ले सकते हैं. नहीं, ये कंप्यूटर से नहीं चलेगा. तुम्हें टाइपराइटर यूज करना है.
And the dad always has that thing, ना कि जब मैंने ये कंपनी स्टार्ट की थी,
हाँ.
पता है
तभी मैं हाथ से पेपर पे लिखता था. अब तुम्हारे पास लैपटॉप है तो क्या हो?
So and you could, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Durin's father just said, after hearing Durin out, just said, "Keh diya,
bas keh diya." No, but classic like fight, and I also think that eventually, see, that the Mithril is going to be mine, right? And I feel somewhere down the line, obviously, I think the best solution to Durin's problems could be his father dying. Not like he'd assassinate his father, but just dying of natural causes, so it passes down to him, and he can then just be like, go ahead and mine all the Mithril you want. And even that scene between him and his wife, right, when they're arguing about the merits and the demerits of actually going down and mining the Mithril, where she gets very Disa, right? I forget her name. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Again, classic ghar wala fight, right? Wife arguing with the husband about something that the in-laws haven't done properly. It's classic, but second age version.
And I also like how Durin goes on to say, but in your mom's case, that she actually died. Like, no, I just joke. It's so typically the same. Like, can't believe that for 3,000 years, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends have the same joke structure that they have done. I just don't understand. Joke, like just that.
No, and again for him, like that really emotional goodbye between him and Elrond, where he is fully like crying and he's sad that he's not able to help his friend. Throws the leaf goes next to Mithril, black leaf turns yellow again and enters in Mohabate, floating around. Very nicely done sequence. You actually felt the bond between both Durin and Elrond at that point.
When so they literally after that scene, Durin is like, okay, got it. I understand what Mithril does. I need to help my friend because I need an action. So they immediately start digging for Mithril, right?
Yeah.
Find this giant vein of Mithril. Okay, just Mithril as far as the eye can see. And just then Durin's father walks in. Right? That moment is such a classic. Doing something wrong with your friends, your parents walking.
Yeah, that I wasn't doing it. वो मुझे सुमित ने बोला. In this case, Elrond now he's thrown out of Khazad-dûm. Right, that entire showdown between Durin and his dad also was like a very well written sequence and well acted also. Yeah. Like that specific part was really, really good. And then eventually after all of this happens, when the king throws the leaf, it keeps going down and down and down, and you're just like, what's going to happen, but you're waiting to see it, waiting to see it goes past all the Mithril, and then you see
that's the funny
Balrog
thing. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I didn't
I
know.
just thought that
What?
I didn't know.
I didn't know the
I
Balrog
didn't
was going to
expect
show
it.
up.
Bro, they had already done the Tremors earlier. Like, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
one
but
of his main things where he's like, listen, don't tempt
you know,
fate, don't try and do something that'll awake the Balrog.
Varun, you know what I thought? What I genuinely thought was that the thing would
The
float
mithril
down
will float down, and
and
then
it'll go past the mithril and it'll shrivel up again or something like that. Like to just hammer
oh,
it in or
oh
do
no! I thought it was the other way around. What I thought would happen is
it'll
it
plant.
would go. Yeah, it'll either plant a tree or the other thing. The other thing is that too much mithril would kill it again.
Ah, okay.
Like I
Very
thought
true,
that
yeah.
it would come and fall on mithril and then it would think. Except ऐसा करके pull out किया उसने और उधर से ऐसा
Oh, क्या
करके
मस्त है लेकिन Balrog वाला shot भी बहुत बहुत बाप था. Because
yeah.
like in
So
all of
I
this,
was like,
the
what?
big creature reveal and all of that are always fun to watch. And Balrog is as deadly as I last remember it
They do
from the
not
movies.
disappoint. They do
Dude,
not disappoint.
dude, but Balrog like must be so upset. इतने साल से सो रहा है और फिर अभी लोग कुछ भी फेंक रहे ऊपर से.
है कौन है मैं?
लीफ मिथरिल
Actually वो हो गया है कि
This
लोग
is like
खाना
when
खा
you
के
have a-
डॉर्स फेंक
This
रहे
is
होंगे.
like no. This is like when you live on the ground floor and things
Yeah,
are
yeah.
falling on your thing.
Excuse me, sir, वो मेरा बनियान गिर गया. अरे क्या कर रहे हैं? Also, one more thing got revealed that we hear about Galadriel. Sorry to go back. Galadriel's husband, Celeborn,
Yes.
who she thinks is probably dead, but I obviously get a sense that that's not going to happen. I have a feeling that somehow in season 2 it'll be revealed that he was maybe captured, in the earlier wars or something like that. That he's still going to be an important part, and we also know that Elrond is like later in the movies is basically married to Galadriel's daughter. So I want to see how that happens.
Yeah, no, and like again, no, in 12 years, like this is not very long.
Yeah.
He'll just be back and he'll be like, अच्छा तो मेरा 2 FD अभी mature हो गया रहेगा.
But what expectations from the last episode? What do you think?
No, but sorry, just one other thing.
I don't have an expectation. Sorry, Kautuk.
You don't have expectation?
No, because I have a warning. Like I don't. It's okay. Surprise me. Don't surprise. But don't do a couple of things. That is what I.
Okay, I'll communicate to the studio and tell them to re-edit a show that has already been uploaded.
We'll come to Baba's thing. Just I want to just quickly talk about. There's like I think there's a very like heavy and important conversation that Galadriel has with Theo.
Yeah.
So they go on this little like side quest as they try to escape Mordor, and where they're talking about guilt because both of them feel responsible for what has
happened. Yeah.
Right, where Theo is like, if I wasn't so hung up on that hilt,
yeah,
none of this would have happened. And Galadriel feels like I to brought people like.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just living their lives in Numenor. I disrupted everything and brought
Dude,
them.
for the first time, Elendil actually says that I wish I had not picked the elf up from the water. I should have just let her be there, right? Because that is what started the sequence of events.
I mean, for Elendil to say it also, it's because he's lost his son, like in his head.
Yeah.
Of course.
Carry on.
So, so that conversation, right? Like it's like, why is it so significant? Because for all these episodes, right, you have seen Galadriel moving forward with a single purpose, right, with no consideration of the consequences of that movement.
Correct.
Right, that I am going to like right in the first episode, if you remember, like she wanted to push through the snow and the blizzard, even at the cost of her own band, one of her men,
peril, like just absolute peril,
right, and jumping into the sea with no regard for her life. Getting to Numenor, convincing everyone in Numenor, meaning like being abrasive with the Queen Regent, being upset with everyone in the whole of
single-handedly convincing Halbrand to go completely against what he wanted or planned to do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And for the first time, I think she recognizes the full impact of all of those choices.
Or decisions. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it led to a lot of suffering. And sometimes, like that's the thing, right? Like evil doesn't just like it's not just about revenge and all of that stuff. Sometimes even evil triumphs. And when that happens, you will be left with the guilt of having led people to that evil.
Correct.
I think she feels that in its full force. So the guilt is always going to be left with the survivors. And at that point in time, she thinks that she's one of the few survivors that are left after this carnage, right? So it was a very, very interesting and important moment for her particular character journey.
Correct.
So, and I think it'll be interesting to see what change happens in her going forward.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting last episode, big blowout, one nice hardcore action sequence, right? I'm predicting Ada dies. Yeah, that I'm predicting. I don't know, right? Like something, and at that point of time, you feel that maybe we've managed to like have a little bit of a battle that we have won, and then as always, as expected, they are going to just tease Sauron, the walking, talking form of Sauron, and then end it. But I think Sauron, after 8 episodes, we deserve to see Sauron.
How crazy would it be if the last shot of the the finale is just there's a close up of Halbrand, and suddenly both his eyes turn red.
I'll take that. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that don't leave us hanging on who Sauron is, please.
Okay.
Like close this. Just close this damn loop, please.
So that Baba can stop going around in life going like, tu Sauron hai, tu Sauron hai.
Yeah, it's becoming psychotic now. Now it's becoming a problem. Do only one tease for season 2. Don't do 5 teases where you've kept 5 things hanging. पागल 1 साल नहीं रुक सकते ना वो सब चीजों के लिए is all I'm saying. So don't tease us too much. These little and reveal Sauron, please. Otherwise, वो ऐसा
So basically,
Baba, I just got off the phone with Amazon. They said that they'll reveal Sauron. Baba, I just got off the phone with Prime Video, and they said they'll reveal who Sauron is if you actually call him Sauron for once, as opposed to Sauron. But anyway, so yeah, we're super pumped.
100 बार भागा था, 100 लोगों से भागा था, so he saw ran. Anyway, carry on. Let's go.
Baba, you can leave.
Oh no.
I'm running.
Anyway, super excited to watch the finale of The Rings of Power, which is going to premiere this Friday on Prime Video. So make sure you guys watch it and join us again. It's the finale, yes. So
okay, wait. Sorry, very quickly. What all other things that are left, right? So we need to find out who Meteor Man is.
Yeah,
we need to find.
I think that's what's going to be a big face-off, right? Because to take on hardcore power, we need something equally strong on the other side. So for the good guys, it might be Meteor Man / Stranger. We get to see more / Gandalf. Get to see more of his power. That is going to be one epic face-off. I feel with a little Harfoot help on the side. And
for once, for him to just be able to do his magic without a Harfoot coming in the way. So who is Meteor Man? We will find out who. Hopefully, like we want to find out who Sauron is. What is the significance of Halbrand going with Galadriel to the elves?
Yeah.
Right. The other thing, by the way, is we'll find out Gil-galad's reaction to seeing Galadriel. Because he's assuming that he abhi pahunch gaya hai. He's like, Arey? So that's going to be interesting. And what is the purpose of the 3 mysterious white?
The other thing I also want to see is if Mithril is actually going to, like, are we going to see the mines of Khazad-dûm open up? What's the relationship between Durin and his father? Does that thing close?
How does his father accept the idea of mining Mithril? And like you said, Varun, does
the Balrog come right now? Is he like, what, let me give them a couple of more chances, right. One more banyan and I'm coming up.
What if Balrog is Sauron?
Okay, Baba, I think it's time to end this episode.
You see the problem
of our Rings of Power review series. We were discussing episode 7. If you think we missed out on anything, please let us know in the comments. Let us know your theories and expectations from the season finale. Once again, it's premiering this Friday on Prime Video, so make sure you watch it and then come back and join us for the finale review of the Rings of Power. Until then, it's all of us saying goodbye, tata. I don't know what you say, bye in Quenya. Bye, yeah.
No, it's just. How does it matter?